Yeah, we're heading towards midsummer over here. And though that being said, it did take a while. It took a long while for nature to seem to realize that the seasons had changed. Right, we need to go ahead and switch out some equipment. Now, do you have any super important ones? The steadfast insignia, maybe. I don't actually know if we worry about that one for now. I really don't know if we worry about that one. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna care too much about that one. Barrack, I need you to stay behind for me.
You look as if you have something on your mind. By all means.
I do.
What can I do for you?
Wow, we can say quite a lot to you right now. I don't think that based on our loyalty that will help though. Well, let's see. I'd like to know more about you. I am the line your enemies cannot cross. All other details are meaningless, but I suspect you have some thirst for details, so ask away. You've had thunderstorms and sleet at the moment. Wow, okay. It has been a good long while since we had sleet over here. As with all his favourite, I assume you grew up in the Northern Empire. That's right. I grew up in Battle's Rest, then trained at Fort Resolution before they marched me out to support the second cohort. I hope to spend my rusting years in Freton shores, unless of course I die in glorious battle, which would be preferable. My mother is good with the soil, my father with rings. He spends much of his time away from one merchant's errand or another. Still, I'm lucky to say they're both alive. Okay, let's speak of something else and we'll talk later, but I would like to bring... Now, this is the big question. Who am I going to bring with me instead of Barrack? So if I bring another mage, I have no tank, which is terrifying. So, hey, Miss Minnie. Yeah, I think we're gonna bring Killsy again. The dark-furred beastwoman sniffs and quivers, panting lightly at your approach. She hunches low, long, gangly fingers caressing the ground.
Alpha to kills and shadows smells good, like mountain dew. Makes beast woman blood stir, run hot. Makes beast woman want to hunt, bite, rot. Fate binder wants beast woman.
It is time to hunt. Come with me, Kills and Shadow.
Him ready. Wants to hunt stock prowl. Wants to kill, and howl for Alpha.
She lopes forward, lips parted, tongue lolling between her discoloured fangs. Eager. Right,
Be
Barrack.
seeing you, Fatebinder.
Indeed you will. There we go. Come along then, Killsy. I wonder if Ebb has anything more to say. Ooh, actually. Kills and Shadow has a level to take. Honestly, I kind of feel that getting Kills and Shadow's speed up is going to have a bigger effect on a lot more stuff for me. At this point, Snapping Bone would be nice. Rear up and bring both fists down on the target, dealing crush damage and knocking all enemies in the immediate area prone. Being able to knock enemies prone is a pretty powerful move. Interestingly, I've got some new abilities. Oh, my lord. Okay, accent that increases the accuracy of spells. Huh. Okay, that's actually pretty good. And you get that is an awfully expensive. That is awfully expensive, but that does increase damage a lot. An awful lot. Regardless, we have actually increased their law skills quite significantly, and part of that was from taking law-focused options during that area. We're not far off being able to get some really powerful spells here. There we go. Right, I think 'tis time for us to head back out. Back to Sunset Spire and indeed to Lethian's Crossing. Right, our quest down here. Talk to Melita at Lethian's Crossing. Marks have mentioned a woman named Melita, an associate that may know where Phoebe, I guess that's Phoebe, currently resides since the Vellum Citadel was destroyed by the Edict of Fire.
Will do.
But where am I going to find this person is the obvious question. Oh, there we are. Never mind. P is that I will find you over here. Man, it's been ages since we were down here. Let's also make sure that Killsy is properly equipped. Not properly. Entropic, 1 armor penetrated by attacks when inflicting crits. You know what? That's a good enough one. Though, that being said, Lucky, raise deflection, control emotions. Control emotions might not be a bad one for Killsy because of the taunt. Finesse, control stone, trap detection, plus 20 max health, plus 5% hit precision. That one might not be a bad one. One armor penetrated by attacks when inflicted. No, I think we'll go with this. Ah, Down Blast. Oh, thank goodness. I was going to say, I didn't take the potions off Barrack, but it's okay, we didn't need to. We're good. Ah, damn it, you were above. All along. Voila. A slender woman picks through produce in a carried sack. Her hands appear focused on finding a particular piece of fruit, but her eyes are intent on the other shoppers in the marketplace below. A man passes by her, accidentally dropping a pouch as he goes. She bends down to retrieve it and hands it back to him. Careful, you almost lost this. He takes the pouch with a blushing smile and promptly walks away, clutching the pouch close to his side. The woman spots your approach as the man walks away. Greetings, how may I be of service? Okay, so we could loom menacingly, or because our subterfuge is so high. Clever, I almost didn't see you palm those rings into that pouch. Almost. I didn't realize I had an audience. Must be a sign I'm slowing down after all these years. Don't worry, nothing underhanded, just trying to repay a debt on the quiet. Certainly someone such as yourself understands the need for discretion. Nice trick. I see pickpockets do things like that all the time. I'm not interested in causing any trouble, but I do need to answer some questions of mine. Enough lie again, or I'll have your head. No. Tell me what I need to know, and I won't have to take a thorough inspection of your property. I'm not interested in causing any trouble, but I do need you to answer some questions of mine. Oh, this? Her hands briefly vanished within the folds of her skirt, only to reappear with the pouch in question. Scraps of parchment. I meant to deliver this to the court after acquiring it from the travelling sage. It may be magical in nature, or contain knowledge forbidden by Kyros. Kyros, please, take it. I'm only happy to do my part. She steps back and observes you, continuing to maintain an air of pleasant attentiveness. Is there anything else I can do for you? She looks at you with a nervous smile. Is there something I can do for you? Did I just get something? It didn't say I did, but... Melissa, I presume. You must be the peddler my friend mentioned. Yes, that's me, but while I'm in town, Xantha will suffice. My line of work, discretion is lesson number 1, although it seems someone else failed in their discretion, else you wouldn't be here. Fair. Just what are you here to peddle? I used to specialize in written things, but the schools are gone, and so are most of my clients. These days, I mostly deal in wineskins, shoes, and lamp oil. Nothing glamorous, but what else do people need during times such as these? Phoebe, I need to find Phoebe. I'm not going to mention Wagstaff, discretion, etc., etc. Well, the fact I know her, that's free. Current information costs extra, and information on friends costs extra, so this isn't the kind of question I'm comfortable answering. I can be trusted to ask around town if you don't believe me. I assure you, you'll be less comfortable not answering the question. I mean, I could go either way, but I feel you... I feel it's going to be easier to catch flies with honey than vinegar. I can do it with either, but... Can't buy grain with noble sentiment, but if a faint binder is asking, I can't find it in me not to be forthcoming. Phoebe sends me the occasional missive. Last I heard from her, she's doubled back towards the burning library. She got herself the dangerous notion that she can recover scripts from her old home, though I think she's avoiding the actual library, seeing as it's the epicenter of the devastation. Phlogiston is now unlocked on the world map. Ooh. Being nice, even when you are the arsehole, can make you respected, and respect can give you power. Indeed. She mentioned a place called Phlogiston. I think she means the village that used to be called Babbling Springs before the war. Out in the contested lands, and that's as much as I know about where to find her, if you can find her there. Maybe she's taking her chance at the library itself. Okay. That's all I need to know for now. Again, I'm not going to mention that Wagstaff sent me. There's no reason for her to have that information. Absolutely none. Oh my lord. The bonuses I've got from that. That is actually kind of bonkers how many bonuses I'm getting from my rest bonuses. Very well. Burning library then. There we go. Oh, really? I guess. Wow. That is quite the pain in the backside to get to. 2 days, 2 hours and 30 minutes. Alright. Well, let's be on our way then. At least we can hop around thanks to the spies. I would have imagined going to the Dawning Spy would have been the closest one. Strange. Hey, Jezza, how you doing? Now, we don't know much about this area, so let's be careful. A small area, though, thankfully, so it's not as much ground I'm going to have to cover quietly. Grabbed a little bit there. Okay, Scarlet Fury's down there. Sage Apprentice. Okay. They look caught up in things they'd probably rather not be caught up in, honestly. Okay. Okay, Scarlet Furies are a bit of a concern, but not necessarily a be-all, end-all. We'll stalk down around this side. Just see if there's anything of interest down here before we actually get into this fight. I love the size of Killsy compared to everyone else here. I'm fairly certain that from shoulder to the tip of her fingers, one of Killsy's arms is about as big as Ebb is. And it might weigh as much as well, considering the difference between muscle and everything else.
Interesting.
Ah, there we go. What have we here then? Remarkable sigil. Really? I spent so much money on buying that. Damn it. I know, shucks. Do we need to kill more Quiremen? Oh, heavens. When will it stop? It looks like there's just a small contingent of Quiremen here.
Sorry, I can't.
Contusion, Needle Toe, Ragwort, Skinner, Crascalia. Okay, so they're all named. Nice. Okay, I'm gonna come out of stealth here. I can see it in my head. Fat Ulston marching out of that inferno. Half is something. Bone Whitter is better cutter. Bone Whittler is winner. Okay. Let's get you guys a lot closer. Killsy, I want you right up in their faces in case this goes south. 4 chorus soldiers engage in animated debate, vociferous in their claims. Stow it, Skinner. The fact that you fantasize about the Gaptooth can do what Gaptooth can do with her mouth doesn't mean that she'll win the game. Just that you desperately want her to. Little testy now, Ragwort. At least Gaptooth's clever. I was going to say a clever match, but that's not actually what's written. This is my brain is translating it. Why anyone would put rings on Fat Ulson winning is beyond me. We all know the only tenderness you've ever known was when you were passed out cold and that drunk wriggled on top of you. My God. No need to take your frustration out on us. I don't let anyone in my tent unless I want them there. Try it sometime, and I'll... She pauses, noting you're present, with a jerk of her head. Approach... well, actually, no, we're going to glare silently. A white-maned warrior spins around, gesturing to the others to stay out. Come closer, chum. The soldier calls out to you in an eager tone, twirling his axe energetically as he sizes you up. Well, it's the... Fuck me, it's the Fatebinder. He plants the pommel of his weapon into the ground and gives the bladed end a kiss. Not today, love. Maybe later. The chorus warrior scans you from head to toe, twirling his axe and puffing up his chest as he looks you over. The boss said we're only free to kill, disfavoured, but if you come here for a fight, I'm sure we can oblige. So what brings you to this shit stain of a village? Well, we know a little bit about the chorus, and who's in charge is not always that obvious. Tell me about your gang. Callier's the boss, and we're her gang. He gestures to a broad-shouldered woman with dishevelled hair. This fair maiden here's ragwort, sews up split flesh like a proper healer, and manages to turn my catch into half-decent meals. Just keep your distance, unless you want to gag on her stench. Stow it, Skinner. You'd be all over this if you could. She points to a few vials dangling from her belt. Bombs don't smell nice, I won't lie. But they keep wounds from festering. Contusion, well, she took a forge-bound hammer to the skull and survived. Tough as they come, not as bloodthirsty anymore, but point and yell at something and she'll take the cue. Great gal. He tips his head towards the wiry man by her side. This cowardly pustule's her mate. Needletoe, master of the art of failed desertion. He runs really fucking fast, I'll give him that, but everyone has their place. He sees to Contusion's needs so that Contusion can see to our needs. Needletoe's sullen expression confirms Skinner's description. Do you really need to tell that to everyone you meet? No, but I enjoy it and it makes me feel good. Well, I mean, he's honest. What's your role in the gang? I'm the fun one. There's joy to be found in the rat service, after all. He flicks a bloody lump off the edge of his axe. I'm also the gang's huntmaster. By that, he means he hunts people. Animals too, if he's bored, or we bitch about our empty bellies. All very true. I'm also Callier's second in all but name. Which means I have the pleasure of keeping these twits in line. What's he arguing about then? Word is the Silent Archives are no longer buried within the burning library. No doubt the censor's pleased, but that's hardly important. What's important is figuring out which of the censor's gangs got to it first. We've all got rings on different ones. My money's on Gaptooth, but we haven't received any updates yet. I mean, do I let them know that I've got it? So gang bosses are now okay with wages on the Silent Archive? Did I say that? I definitely didn't say that. One of these idiots is going to lose, but nobody's obliged to pay up. We're the Horde. Pride is worth more than rings. He lowers his voice to a near whisper. We sometimes just measure that pride in rings. So, do you know who got the archive? Me. Well, after that whole thing with Fat Olsen, I'm so tempted. Or I could just say, yeah, Kyros' law forbids gambling. It doesn't. So I'm tempted just to annoy him. It was Fat Olsen. Motherless goat! He pauses to compose himself before resuming the disconcerting smile. Not you, of course, Fatebinder. Listen, I have a small request. If you're game, what if you told everyone else that Gaptooth won? Wouldn't that be fun? This is so funny. Asking a Fatebinder to lie isn't a smart request after I just lied. Or I'll need a better reason than that to do this. No, I'm gonna Just become intimidating now. His eye eyes you for a moment before chuckling to himself. Yes, I suppose not. Tact isn't a word I even understand, but I'll pretend that. What I mean is, I'll be sure to tell everyone who truly found the silent archive. That was hilarious. I am so amused. All right. Tell me about these captured sages. This ash pit isn't much of a village anymore, but old Crassy makes us take the detour through it every time we march out from the burning library. Thought it was a boring diversion until we ran into these sages, his lips part slightly to reveal a grin. Some resisted, thankfully, and I got to play. Those bookworms fight better than you'd expect, he rubs heavily bruised rib, wincing in pain. Still, touch a blade to their skin and their eyes go wide. It's kind of precious to see. We're keeping the rest alive until we figure out what we're doing with them. Okay, learn anything from them? Oh, plenty, but nothing in the slightest way believable. Press a blade to a disfavored neck and he'll stare at you like he was dropped as a baby. Do the same to a sage and they'll fucking talk for minutes before you realize it's all ballast hole spew. Baby dropped? She looks concerned and steps forward, scanning the ground for something. Oh. Contusion, not now. Needle nose gently but firmly pulls her back. That should be needle toe. Nothing to worry about, girl. Skinner shoos the confused woman away with a wave of his hand. Anyway, the boss is being careful about this one. She's got her methods. He pats a row of short, sharp-edged knives along his belt. And I've got mine. She'll have need of them eventually. Okay. I'll be going now. Right, well, I want to talk about Ragwort. The chorus warrior halts her work of grinding spices with a mortar and pestle as you approach, and the sharp, pungent smells of herbs and oils stand out over the prevailing smell of char in the village. You, need something? Kalia speaks to the gang. You probably want to have words with her instead. Tell me about the captive sage. I've secretly had words with them, which suits me fine. She jerks her head towards Skinner. He's our torture enthusiast. Maybe speak with him. I've scarcely, rather. What's your role in the gang? Me, I just do what Kalia says and try not to get in the way. Since most of these louts can't smell over their own stink, the honour of cooking falls to me. She wipes her nose across her arm before returning to the work of grinding her mortar and pestle. Can't complain. It insulates me from abuse. Even Skinner knows better than to mistreat the person who's preparing their food. I mean, that kind of makes sense. Try and talk with Contusion. The tall, wiry woman peers intently at scraps of parchment in her hand, tracing the contours of an elaborate drawing with her finger. Like tree, but prettier. She giggles approvingly at its contents, scratching the area around a noticeable dent in her forehead. As you approach, she crumples up the drawing and stuffs it in her shirt. Are you friend? Sure, why not? She grins and nods. Good. No need to kill you then. Not in mood for killing right now. What you want? What happened to your forehead? She taps the forehead. A confused expression spreads across her face as she hunts around for something on her face, oblivious to the injury. What do you mean? Did I make a mess again? She hasn't any memory of the incident. I'm just lucky to still have her. What was the parchment you were playing with? Pretty drawing. Skinner plays with sages and said sage so happy she gave drawing as gift. She holds out the wrinkled parchment, which contains a prominent sigil and many paragraphs of scholarly exposition. That drawing looks faded. I could make a prettier copy for you. Party has received a scroll, Sigil of Piercing, accent, and gained 5 lore skill. It was worth it to increase my lore skill on that one. Pretty much whichever one you pick, whichever skill option you use, is the skill that you're going to, well, actually, yeah, in this case, the skill or the attribute that you're going to gain experience for. And since I am always looking to increase lore, I will almost always pick a lore option. You produce a pen and clean parchment, and she hands you the scroll. You copy its sigil precisely, adding minor embellishments to exaggerate its features. Contusion claps excitedly as you add the flourishes. As she gazes adoringly at her new gift, you tuck the now unwanted scroll away in your pack. What do you do in this gang? Warrior, toughest of crew. Needle-toe husband. Callier boss. Skinner is little boss. Ragwort cooks. Gang's family. How long have you and Needle-toe been together? What do you mean? Needle is mate for life. Is that long? Says we're together forever. Maybe someday we'll scrape. He says, scrape. Honey, don't tell everything to the stranger. He leans in to grab her arm, blushing as he does. I told her someday we'll scrape together enough rings to afford some real food for a change. You consider this gang your family? Needle-toe is real family, but gang is almost as good. I hope I don't have to kill Contusion.
On it.
A short, shifty-eyed man puffs his chest as you approach. Don't expect to see many visitors out here. What do you need? Scratches a hairy mole on his neck. Know anything about the captured sages? I only know that we're under orders to nab them and interrogate them. Crass Callier is the only one who could tell you for sure why. What's your role in the gang? Me? I'm the eyes and ears. Been pulling scout duty since we lost Shrill Tantrum to the disfavored. When I'm not watching over the gang, I'm watching over this one. He points to the woman standing near him. Contusion here is mine, so hands off. She's been a little odd since the injury, but she's still in there, mostly. Do the Furies have anything to say? It doesn't look like they do. Right. Okay. What is my law skill? It's still 182. A tall, heavily scarred blood chanter thrusts a disapproving finger towards a group of horsemen loudly arguing amongst themselves. Hurry the shut up, mooks. Once Rancid member brings his scouts back, we're moving on out of this dung heap. We're done here. She hears your approach and turns around, panting slightly from exertion. Kyros fetid Merkin, Fatebinder out here of all places. She winces briefly, patting a tightly wound bandage covering her ribs. I know the voice of Narat wants your eviscerated heart, but I have no interest in trying to collect, nor when we have work to do. I prefer my gang save our strength to fight the disfavored, so keep your weapons lowered and we'll do the same. So what do you want? What were the sages doing here when you found them? Hardly matters now. There's not much to be found in this ash heap countryside. So they were probably trying to find a way into that burning library. Now that the Silent Archive's been found, there's nothing left for them to steal. She jerks her head towards a nearby rooftop. I told those asswipes too. The look in their eyes said it all. Made the whole damn week here worth it. I've come to speak with the sage, Phoebe. Fat Chaz Fatebinder. I'll respect your right as Tunon's lapdog, up to a point. Your title is the only thing that separates you from those traitor sages. I'd sooner fight barehanded against a dozen beastwomen in heat than help you. So, no fucking way. Or I can just use, I say that I'm mostly a mage, but I'm kind of also a fighter. I've got a quite high athletics skill at this point, so I can pull off quite a lot of intimidate. I can take out my aggression on the sages, or you. Have a preference? She grips her staff and studies you intently. Well, shit, if you'd asked so nicely in the beginning, we could have saved a lot of time. She kicks a rock at her feet, spraying them at the watching hordemen. What a Kyros bloody draws are you all gawking at? Fatebinder, have at her. What the fuck do I care? We never saw you. Okay. And with that, we can slip past. And a beast woman, but not in heat. Anything that can increase lore is worth the bite it took to encode it in Bitcoin. Let's grab all of these, yoink. Another interrogator. Injured and restrained, the middle-aged woman manages a weak smile between swollen and blood-caked lips. Though cuts and burns run the length of her body, her quiet composure grants her a surprising measure of dignity. Apologies if I'm running short on screams. She chuckles, wincing from some unknown pain. Ah, Sage Phoebe, you're looking like you're staying active. Oh, for the love of... Why am I not surprised to see the Overlord's most loyal fanatic on the side of my captors? Who's your friend? Oh, so due to his loyalty, thankfully, which is 4, we're 92% of the way to tier 5, though. Whew. And yeah, pretty much, Unspeakable, we went through all of that to save Contusion. There is, with Killsy as our tank, we could accidentally roll through that gang, leaving nothing but bloody stains and shards of bone pummeled into the ground in our wake. We could accidentally do that. I just don't want to kill Contusion. So we went to great amounts of effort to chew on our tongue and put up with a lot of incivility so that we could just walk past. This is Sage Phoebe, one of our brighter members, if it pains me to say so. She's an expert in concealment magic, or at least should be an expert enough to not have been caught. Oops, accidentally or murder. Yeah, pretty much. That is an interesting one. I don't know if Killsy would approve, though. I'm going to be honest. Being all subterfuge and such. I've never seen option 1 in all of my runs. Really? How many runs have you had, Santos? That's true. I am asking her to hunt. Gain 7 subterfuge. She acknowledges your command with a nod and leans in close to Phoebe, running a claw along the sage's cheek as takes in the prisoner's ink and sweat reek. Snout up, kills in shadow, lowers to her haunches and looks about. She appears unable to pick up a scent, but determined to keep sniffing all the same. You've played it 7 or 8 times and not managed to gather. Oh, I'm pleased to have been able to show it to you. Marching to Kyros drumbeat already. Was this the arrangement? You preach surrender to the sages, and Kyros minions treat you like a kept pet. I'm not going to strike her. Lantry can stick up for himself. She's already... what's the use in striking a bound woman? That isn't... I could achieve the same with words. There's no reason to beat her. She's already been defeated. That reminds me of that of Worf and the Jem'Hadar, and where the captain refused to fight Worf anymore because there was no point. He couldn't defeat Worf. He could only kill Worf, and there was a difference between these two things. You know, I'm fairly certain if after all of this torture, and she can still look dignified, me giving her a backhand is not going to change anything whatsoever. It would just be a show of my own insecurities at that point. And Lantry's a big enough man to take care of himself. I'm going to remain silent. Enough of that. You'll do well to listen to the Fatebinder and obey. I doubt you believe me, but I don't want you to suffer more than you already have. No matter how many times I try to divulge all that I know, you all seem to think I'm hiding more. So be it. I'll play this little game once more. Ask your questions. Well do I. Hi, mate. Thank you so much for the 15 months. I usually work till closing nowadays, so I usually don't get to say hi, but hello! You and Ica are the only peeps I sub to, because wholesomeness is best. Thank you for staying awesome. Well, I mean, this is not exactly the most wholesome game. I'm going to be honest. But thank you so much, mate. I'm not sure if you can draw some small measure of if it might go some way to mute the fact that the game can be crude at times, with the fact that I stumble over it whenever I'm required to read swearing, because internally I'm just laughing at the silly mouth words that English swear words are. I might actually be able to say it with some degree of conviction if it was a Welsh swear word, because that actually has some kind of power to my ears. But English swears, they're just silly sounds. They're literally noises, and most of them are actually kind of funny. But the game has quite not so much morbid, but it's definitely got complex themes, heavy themes in some ways. And certain characters are a lot more crude than others, to put it mildly. But it's a very, very good game, this one. It can be kind of sort of wholesome. I think there are about 1.5 paths through this game that are not totally evil. I'm not sure any of them are totally evil. Well, actually, no, there are a couple that are just straight up genocidal fascism. But I think there are none that are not, in some degree, evil. I don't think there is any version of the alignment chart that is anything not evil. It's just lawful, neutral, or chaotic evil. That's your alignment range for this game. Wagstaff sent me to kill you. Says you're a threat. If Wagstaff sent you, a bloody cough halts her attempts to speak firmly, then there is little to discuss. What's the story with you and him? I figured even you Northerners know the School of Ink and Quill and the Tyrecasters hate each other. Wagstaff was the enemy. Then Kyros minions showed up. I want the details. Enlighten me. We were friends and rivals. Then just rivals. Did you come all this way to interrogate me about such gossip? I mean, I could lift her up by the bandolier. We can skip to the part about him wanting you dead. No. I already know the unmentionables. He spared few details. I want your side of the story. That loose-lipped, beast-rutting pig. Couldn't hop on the flotilla with the rest of those briny cowards. Yes, we had a relationship. As physically stimulating as it was mentally exhausting. It was a tryst that spanned decades. Our schools forbade any such pairing, and common sense did so as well. But the danger only made it more intoxicating. That's a tale as old as time, Phoebe. You have nothing to feel ashamed about. Well, actually, you probably do feel quite a lot of shame now, because it went so sour. But, look, okay? Many a more worldwide sage than you has succumbed to such temptations. That's all I'm trying to say, all right? What did you gain from the collaboration with him? A plethora of volatile emotions and coitus-driven reconciliation. If you'll pardon my candour. She shakes her head, wincing in pain. It is a bit strange to recall such things while festooned with bruises. Again, pardon the candour.